In LA this week,
We are able, with this money, to keep the staff intact. The last thing I want to do is get to a point to where I can't keep the teachers I have.
I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, how the city is working to help businesses who have also suffered from the gas leak.
Some good news for the job outlook at the 6th Annual Southern California Economic Summit. I'm Anna Marcos. That story coming up.
it's called a Parklet, and you could soon see more of these in downtown LA. More coming up. Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. City officials try to offer solutions to help alleviate the financial stress felt by businesses from the ongoing SoCal Aliso Canyon gas leak in Porter Ranch. Rasha Goel has more.
Yana, I'm here at the Aliso Canyon storage facility where, due to the gas leak, approximately 10,000 people have had to relocate. Now, this gas leak has not only affected the residents in the area, but small local businesses have also taken a huge hit. On a normal day, this classroom would be full of children. But with families leaving the area because of toxic fumes and other health concerns, enrollment at the Starter Set preschool in Northridge has dropped.
They've been here for going on 19 years, has lost a third of their enrollment.
For owners Barbara and Doug Packard, the school is not only a source of income, but it's also their joy and passion as well.
They make my day, no matter how bad the day may be. You walk in here and you get a big smile, a big hug.
Starter Set Preschool is one of many other local businesses that has felt the economic hit. To help these struggling businesses due to the gas leak, Councilman Mitch Englander reached out to the Valley Economic Development Center, a nonprofit organization that provides microloans to small businesses. For the Packards, this $35,000 check will go a long way.
We are able, with this money, to keep the staff intact. The last thing I want to do is get to a point to where I can't keep the teachers I have.
And in terms of repaying the loan,
we made a decision to defer any payments until the gas leak is capped. VEDC, as the council member has said, is offering loans from $1,000 to $50,000 and small business up to $250,000.
Ala George, a Porter Ranch resident who had to pull her daughter out of the school, contacted the councilman's office to try to help keep their doors open.
You'll never find a place where they truly care about your child as if they were one of their own. It was very, very hard, and I decided, that I can't leave her here, and she's just going to have to come with me, and we'll figure out if we're going to stay, if we're going to move out of this area.
But for those businesses who are staying, a little financial boost may be all that's needed for now. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
The Valley Economic Development Center is encouraging business owners to contact them. For more information, visit vedc.org. Well, the Southern California Economic Summit was born to help fight Southern California's recession. Now, several years later, it looks like the idea is working. Anna Marcos brings us the highlights of the latest summit.
6 years after the recession that brought the entire LA region to its knees, the 6th Annual Southern California Economic Summit opened with encouraging news for government and corporate leaders gathered here and for the everyday Californians working to make ends meet.
We tried to create economic opportunities, and 6 years later we created a lot of jobs. LA, just so you know, created more high-tech jobs than any place in the country the last 2 years.
Unemployment rates have been cut in half in 6 LA area counties, a region which saw jobless rates rise to 1 million people during the worst of the economic crisis. 12% of the workforce at the time was out of work.
We looked at those industries we've forgotten about, things like filming, things like aerospace, getting the governor to sign an expansion of film tax credits that this year alone brought $1.3 billion of filming back to the state of California that otherwise would not have been here.
But challenges remain, including congestion, the lack of affordable housing, high rents, and low education levels, which could mean fewer of those high-paying jobs.
Our kids need to go and graduate from high school and be ready to go to colleges. In that area, we're really not doing very well, and that's one of the big challenges for the future.
We need to have a sound and solid transportation infrastructure to move people and move goods. And because of the high level of congestion, it's really hindered economic opportunity.
Still, the trend of economic growth is now headed in the right direction. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The Southern California Economic Summit is put on by the Southern California Association of Governments. Well, the latest annual crime statistics are in, showing upticks in criminal behavior across the board, their highest levels since 2009. Gil Reyes reports from LAPD headquarters.
LA's latest yearly crime stats showing a troubling trend.
We all must do more to keep our streets safe, to do more to make our families feel secure.
At a news conference at police headquarters, city leaders revealed that every crime category in 2015 increased since the previous year. Homicides, rapes, and robberies all up, with the biggest increase in aggravated assaults. Violent crime rose more than 20%, property crime up nearly 11%. Still, LAPD Chief Charlie Beck says LA's numbers per capita remain the lowest of any big city in America. And when you compare decades, LA is currently experiencing its lowest crime figures since the 1950s.
This is still a great and a safe city. But we have a number of things that we need to work on. One of them is gang crime.
In 2015, gang crime increased for the first time in 8 years, contributing to more than half of the city's homicides. Officials say increased homelessness and changes in the way the LAPD classifies crimes also contributed to the spikes. The good news is violent crime started to drop this past summer thanks to various city efforts, including doubling the number of elite metro officers to high crime areas and the placement of domestic abuse response teams at every police station.
In other words, about a 15% reduction in crime in those last 6 months of that increase. To me, that gives me a lot of hope of the work that was done.
The mayor and the chief are stopping short of blaming those increases on Prop 47 and prison realignment, which placed much of the state's prison population back on our streets. However, the mayor and the chief do hope that the increased money savings from those reduced incarcerations will help fund more drug treatment and rehabilitation programs to hopefully prevent the formerly incarcerated from committing more crimes. Yana?
All 21 LAPD stations reported crime increases. The biggest spikes were in the Central Division, which serves downtown and Skid Row. While struggling homeowners continue to remain targets for loan modification scams. Rasha Goel has more on how the city attorney is helping residents from becoming victims.
It is particularly despicable to me that scammers would take advantage of someone who is that vulnerable at that stage in their lives and at that point in their economic life.
LA City Attorney Mike Feuer is aggressively working to help homeowners from falling victim to modification scams through a new public awareness campaign.
The first of which is this outreach effort to prevent anyone further from ever being victimized by a loan modification scam. But there's another piece too. We are going to, in the city attorney's office, hold accountable those who would prey on the fears of homeowners and take advantage of them through loan modification scams.
In 2015, more than 2,000 homeowners in Los Angeles were in default. The city has partnered with the Department of Business Oversight that is helping provide funds for public meetings and additional outreach.
Our program's mission is to support homeownership and inform mortgage borrowers of their rights.
Some tips recommended by the city attorney to avoid loan modification scams are to not pay any upfront fees for services, also not to make any payments to any individuals other than your lender or loan servicer, and to never transfer title to those promising loan modification. Officials are taking a tough stand. Criminal charges have already been filed against 2 LA defendants alleging these scams. Officials say prevention starts with educating homeowners. A symposium will be held on January 30th. In Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
For more information on upcoming symposiums, visit lacityattorney.org. Well, new numbers are in following recently enacted tax breaks for local film and TV production. Gil Reyes has those numbers from downtown.
Filming continues in downtown's Olvera Street for a feature entitled Live by Night, starring and directed by Ben Affleck. For Affleck and his fellow filmmakers, it's good to be back in LA.
Most of us in this industry know that Los Angeles, there is really no finer place to make a film than in this city. It boasts the best crews and cast available, the sound stages, the backlots, the equipment houses.
And starting last year, perhaps the best tax breaks for film and TV production. After years of runaway productions to other cities and states, location shoots in Los Angeles increased by 1.3% in 2015. Overall, television production had the biggest increase at 10%. Feature films did not fare as well. Officials are quick to point out that film production here in Los Angeles dropped slightly from the previous year. Then again, those film tax credits didn't go into effect until the fourth quarter.
And in that quarter, we saw a 12% increase in feature filming here in Los Angeles, demonstrating that this tax credit works.
The state has set aside $330 million in tax credits for productions in California. To lure companies to LA, Mayor Eric Garcetti has called on every city department to appoint a film liaison to help the industry better access city buildings and other resources. At this news conference outside Pico House, the mayor reacted to the latest Hollywood controversy. A-list stars planning to boycott the Oscars because of the lack of diversity on the list of nominees in the acting categories.
Look, I agree with the criticism. I think Los Angeles reflects the way that the country will be, and it is a reflection of the way the world is today. Our diversity is our strength. Our diversity is part of what makes the cultural mix so interesting here.
The mayor says he'll push for more opportunities for minorities in the industry. Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
In the first year of the tax credits, TV dramas and sitcoms filmed in Los Angeles posted the most gains. While the Board of Water and Power Commissioners okay a proposed LADWP rate hike, the LA City Council cracks down on medical marijuana dispensaries and new safety improvements at Echo Park Lake. All these stories and more in CityBeat. The average single-family household could see electricity go up a total of $12 over 5 years under an electricity rate hike proposal approved by the Los Angeles City Board of Water and Power Commissioners, which oversees the LADWP. Board officials say the majority of the rate hike revenue would go toward complying with state mandates to switch to renewable energy sources. The rest would go toward fixing the city's aging and broken electricity infrastructure, which would reduce and prevent blackouts. The rate hike plan has the backing of Mayor Eric Garcetti. The proposal now goes before the LA City Council for approval. The city will stop issuing new business tax certificates to medical marijuana dispensaries under an ordinance approved by LA City Council. Despite the 2013 voter approval of Proposition D, which banned most medical marijuana businesses in Los Angeles, city finance officials have continued to issue tax certificates and collect taxes from them, illegal or not. Some medical pot shops in the city are still allowed to operate due to exceptions in Proposition D. It's now up to city attorneys to determine whether they are in compliance. City leaders said collecting taxes while also banning medical marijuana businesses sends a mixed message, prompting them to simply cut off the issuance of any new tax registrations. The mayor must sign off on the ordinance before it can go into effect. Los Angeles City Council member Mitch O'Farrell flipped the switch on a new traffic light at Echo Park. O'Farrell was joined by the Los Angeles Department of Transportation, local residents, and business owners to dedicate the newly installed traffic signal and pedestrian crosswalk at the busy intersection of Laguna and Echo Park Avenues, directly across the street from Echo Park Lake. O'Farrell says the improvements have been a long time coming.
For years, I would see mothers with strollers having to hop the curb and then take their chances just to get to the other side of the street. And so now it's much more safe.
At 167 years old, downtown's Pershing Square Park is due for another facelift. As Gil Reyes reports, competition for the winning bid is down to the final four.
The city of LA's oldest park will soon go from drab to fab.
Pershing Square is a child of its own time and it needs a revamp. So it's great that the people that are actually going to be using it can have a say in how it's going to be used.
Through public exhibits and online comments, Angelenos have spent months helping to pick the 4 finalists in the Pershing Square redesign contest. The competition began in September with 54 firms, each with their own vision to recreate a park that suffered from a lack of green space ever since LA's automobile boom of the 1950s. This led to construction of an underground parking garage that added more concrete to the park and removed much of the vegetation. Finalists now plan on doing just the opposite, removing much of the cement and adding more plants.
These designs were created by nationally, internationally recognized firms, and basically we're asking the community to provide us feedback and comments.
The differences are in the details. One firm prioritizes walkability, stormwater collection, and eco-friendliness. Another focuses on outdoor theater and a feng shui-like connection to the rest of downtown. A third company pitches a variety of outdoor gardens for kids, crops, and nature lovers, while a fourth stresses cultural events, exercise classes, and coffee shops. Whoever wins, most would probably agree anything's better than this. Final presentations are expected in March, a winner to be announced soon after that. In Pershing Square, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
You can pick your favorite design and offer input at PershingSquareRenew.com. While in downtown LA, green is good. One growing community is making sure the greenery keeps up with the growing concrete. Anna Marcos has more on the new Hope Street Parklet.
Who says urban traffic and park greenery don't mix? The idea of so-called parklets in the middle of downtown LA's hustle and bustle is taking hold in South Park, one of the fastest growing areas downtown.
The South Park population is expected to triple in a mere 2 years.
The Hope Street Parklet was built under the Department of Transportation's People's Street program.
A few years ago, the city would say no to these types of projects. The city would say, hey, that the street is a place for cars. It's not a place for people to relax and drink some coffee and talk to one another. But that has changed.
The parklets do require wider sidewalks, which means taking up some street real estate. But most here agree they are good for people and good for business.
It's going to allow people to really just kind of take in downtown, enjoy downtown.
I hope I'm speaking for most small business owners that any new public space, any green changes, anything we can help with, we'd love to be involved with.
This is also about investing in places to build and grow community happiness. This is about giving people a place to sit, to rest, to talk, to flirt, to debate.
The price tag for one of these little parklets anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000. Sometimes it's a council member's office who sponsors it, but often it's the businesses around who get together to design, create, and pay for it.
Any community who wants one can go to the Department of Transportation under the People's Street program, get some support, get some ideas of what can be done.
The Hope Street Parklet is one of 7 being built under the People's Street program. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
For more information, call the city's Department of Transportation People Street program by dialing City Hall at 311. Grown-ups visit their old playing field and discover it's changed a lot since they were kids. As Gil Reyes reports, there's much more to do at Daniels Field in San Pedro.
This is actually the first batting cage we've had here in San Pedro. So again, elevating our commitment to our youth.
Batting as a switch hitter, San Pedro Councilman Joe Buscaino takes practice swings at this park's new batting cage. Daniels Field, his park since childhood, has also just added a golf driving range cage and an extended sports complex for basketball, futsal, and volleyball. For those who grew up playing baseball here, it's a chance to revisit childhood, but with many more options.
Whether it was caroms or watch baseball games or football in the old Midtown Little League fields, we used to play all the time here. So it's nice to be able to come back. I brought my son with me as well.
The Boys and Girls Club partnered with the city to complete renovations in 18 months. The Boys and Girls Club has hosted all kinds of youth programs here for half a century. Music lessons and the after-school tutoring program known as College Bound has helped boost high school graduation rates for area students.
Generations have come here and achieved their potential when otherwise they might have been left to go home alone after schools.
We are so thankful and appreciative of the San Pedro Boys and Girls Club that for 50 years they've been here.
And expected to be here for many more years with more ways to play. In San Pedro, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Daniels Field Sports Complex serves some 700 young people from LA's South Bay. Well, do you and your family have a plan if an earthquake or another emergency strikes? Officials say it doesn't take much to keep your family and neighborhood safe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Norma Martin is picking up her emergency disaster kit containing water, a flashlight, goggles, medical pack, and other items.
We have to be knowledgeable of the things that we need to do.
She's one of the hundreds of Angelinos who came out for the 8th annual Valley Disaster Preparedness Fair held recently in Granada Hills. Put on by the Southern California Preparedness Foundation and supported by Councilmember Mitch Englander, the fair featured various safety demonstrations, activities, and a host of displays and city department exhibits. The goal was to educate Angelinos on how they can become self-sufficient in the aftermath of a disaster. Officials say it doesn't take much to prepare.
I bought a 10-foot extension cord for $10 or a 100-foot extension cord, and I plug into my neighbor, and then I unplug by morning. See, so I saved a lot of money, but I was very efficient in being able to run my television and my refrigerators.
Officials say invite your neighbors over for coffee and take a few moments to casually talk to them about ways you can help get your neighborhood prepared.
Make it fun then. Think outside of the box. Come up with something new and innovative and different.
Officials offer some tips to prepare. They recommend having at least 3 days of water per person on hand and take the time to make a backpack of your important documents and keep a copy in the cloud or your emergency bag. Also in the bag, some cash in small denominations.
And I think that being prepared goes beyond just having water and food. It's an understanding, really, of what it takes in order to survive.
And in order to survive, officials say the first step is to at least start thinking and talking about getting prepared so that you can not only help yourself, but you can help others too.
Captain comes by in the engine company or the truck company or the rescue, whatever it is, and you look at them and you say, we've got it. Go to the next neighborhood. That's where the value comes.
For more information on things you can do to get prepared, visit socalprep.us. High school students getting paid to spruce up their neighborhoods. Gil Reyes has more on some job openings with the LA Conservation Corps. Gil.
Yeah, Yana, what a great opportunity for young people who may feel like there are few options out there. What you see out here is paid training, and the sky's the limit in terms of the future. Alexis Tavares is well on his way to mastering some skills.
Irrigation, I've learned how to form, I learned how to finish concrete. Obviously, I'm not an expert on it, but I have help with it.
While still in high school, Tavares had answered an ad to join a training program with the LA Conservation Corps and began working within 3 months.
Corps members are planting trees, building gardens, building playgrounds and parks. They're cleaning streets, removing graffiti, recycling. Corps members initially earn a minimum wage with us during the training program, and then if they are interested in staying with us as a supervisor or moving into a higher level staff position, obviously the pay increases.
Up to $40,000 a year for supervisors. For the past 30 years, the city of LA has called the Corps first to mop up major messes. Winter storm cleanup? Call the Corps. Habitat restoration? Call the Corps. Trash removal after a Lakers parade? The city knows who to call. Work is non-union, but employees have the option of leaving after the training program for higher-paying union jobs elsewhere. And yes, the Corps will hook them up with employers.
Jobs in the energy field, in construction, and manufacturing, and especially clean tech manufacturing. Lots of things that Corps members can do if they like to use their hands.
Yes, it has been worth it so far because I have learned so much.
Learning on the job and building options for the future. In Pico Union, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Young people ages 14 to 24 can apply. The Corps also offers college scholarships for those who qualify. Find out more at lacorps.org. Well, a night on Broadway shines the spotlight on some historic theaters in downtown LA. Enjoy some of the city's most popular museums for free, and fine art comes alive at the LA Convention Center. That's all in this week's Things to Do. Night on Broadway is back. It's the 8th anniversary of the Los Angeles City Council member Jose Huizar's Bringing Back Broadway initiative, a 10-year plan for the revitalization of the historic Broadway corridor. This free one-night extravaganza in downtown Los Angeles will feature programming on the historic stages of glorious theaters often closed to the public, as well as a large street festival with an outdoor stage of its own. Internationally renowned artists, acrobats, performers, musicians, and other acts will fill the storied Broadway corridor with art, entertainment, food, and music, with a special focus on Broadway as the heart of downtown Los Angeles. The event takes place on Saturday, January 30th from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. in downtown LA. For more, visit nightonbroadway.la. Clear your calendar for Museums Free for All Saturday on January 30th, when more than 24 museums in the LA area will offer free admission, not including specially ticketed exhibitions or parking, allowing local residents an amazing opportunity to check out the culture of their city free of charge. You can see anything from art to natural history and science. Participants for this year include many locations that are not normally free, such as the Natural History Museum, LACMA, MoCA, and the Descanso Gardens, along with museums that regularly offer free admission, such as both Getty campuses and the Broad. For more, visit SoCalMuseums.org. If you're an art enthusiast, get your fill at the Los Angeles Fine Art Show. It'll feature a rich blend of premier historic and contemporary art. Unique in the art fair world, dealers from around the globe will converge at the Los Angeles Convention Center to share their exceptional variety of fine and decorative art, spanning all styles and centuries, with serious collectors, interior designers, and museum curators. 20 years ago, the Los Angeles Fine Art Show was created as a regional show, reflecting the city's evolving nature. Today, it continues that tradition, offering an extraordinary range of genres from 18th century European paintings to contemporary realism. This year, the Los Angeles Fine Art Show is dedicated solely to historic and contemporary art. Check it out at the LA Convention Center January 27th through the 31st. For more, visit losangelesfineartshow.com. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.